Zelda has influenced the way we have played nearly every 3D action game in the last 27 years. Elden Ring, Devil May Cry, God of War, Batman Arkham, every single one. And this is all because Nintendo had a problem they genuinely did not know how to solve. After making exclusively 2D games, how do you aim a sword in 3D space? The problem. It's 1995, and the Nintendo 64 is coming. Nintendo is building the first 3D Zelda, and they're running into a wall. Sword combat in 2D is simple. You face to the left, and you swing left. You face to the right, and you guessed it, you swing your sword to the right. The geometry is obvious. But in 3D, your camera might be behind you, beside you, above you. The enemy is somewhere in that soup of 3D space. And how do you even aim a sword swing? How do you make sure that Link is facing the right direction when the player hits the attack button? Well, first, let's think of the controller. The Nintendo 64 controller lacked something nearly every controller since has adopted: the dual joystick. Having one joystick controlling the player's movement and another for aiming and field of view has become the norm for just about every console. But in 1995, this is what Nintendo was working with. Early builds of the game had Link flailing a sword into empty space. The combat felt broken, and players couldn't track enemies. The whole thing was really a mess. The solution. The breakthrough came from the programming team. The idea was this: the game just chose the target for you. One button, lock on. The camera snaps to center the enemy in the frame. Link pivots to face them automatically. Suddenly, every sword swing, every shield raise, every sidestep is geometrically coherent. They called it L targeting internally, named after the L button on the Nintendo 64 controller. Upon release, it shipped as Z targeting, named after the Z trigger. A simple idea on paper, but it turned out to be brutally hard to execute. The system has to do several things simultaneously and invisibly. It needs to pick the right target, not just the closest enemy, but the most relevant one. And it needs to handle target switching smoothly when a second enemy enters the fight. It needs to know when to auto-release, because if Link's target dies and the camera snaps wildly, that just creates an incredibly bad game feel. And it needs to work across radically different combat spaces. For example, a wide Hyrulean field or a cramped dungeon corridor, a moving platform under a lava pit. The Z-targeting implementation in Ocarina of Time is doing constant environmental geometry checks you never even see, every single frame. It's quiet background work, and that invisibility is exactly the point, as the best interface is always the one you stop noticing. Ocarina shipped November 1998 in Japan. Within 2 years, the lock-on concept had spread everywhere. Tomb Raider's sequels adopted targeting assists. Devil May Cry, which began as a Resident Evil game, built its entire combat identity around stylized lock-on. Kingdom Hearts, Dark Souls, the entire character action genre. It started as Z-targeting, and became adopted as a lock-on or soft lock or target assist. And now the branding has disappeared completely. The mechanic is just so fundamental that it doesn't have a name, it's just how 3D games work. Nintendo didn't set out to invent a genre-defining control paradigm. They set out to stop Link from stabbing the air. The solution they landed on became an invisible infrastructure for 3 decades of game design.